All right, everyone, let's learn how to solve a two-step equation, one of the most basic forms of equations. So two-step equations, we are going to focus on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, and their inverses. So we do need to know a few things. We need to know that adding and subtracting are opposites of each other, inverses of each other. Okay? And the same thing goes for multiplying and dividing. They are inverses of each other. So when we're solving a problem, we need to make sure that we know what the opposites are, because that's what we need to do when solving an equation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have an example here, 2x minus 5 equals 13. I'm going to draw a line where the equal sign is. I want to make sure we know, when we see an equal sign, the two sides of the equation are equivalent. Therefore, if I do something to one side, I need to make sure to do it to the other side. So, usually we begin with adding and subtracting. Okay? So, the 2x is safe for now, but we do see a minus 5. Now remember, look at our inverses right over here. Okay? The opposite of subtracting would be addition. So to get rid of a minus 5, the goal is to add 5. And like I said earlier, if you do it to one side, you need to do it to the other. Now what's the purpose in getting rid of that minus 5? It is because our goal is to solve for x, to isolate the variable. Okay? We need to make sure that we are getting that variable alone. So we need to get rid of that minus 5. So negative 5 plus 5 is 0 and has been eliminated from the left-hand side. What's left is 2x equals, and then on the other side, 13 plus 5 gives us 18. So we're one step closer to isolating the variable. It is almost alone. But there is that 2 there in front of the x. Now how are we going to get rid of it? We have to ask ourselves this question. Which operation is happening there? 2x. Is that 2 times x divided by x? Is it 2 plus x or 2 minus x? If we do not see a symbol, that means multiplication. 2x is the same thing as 2 times x. So what's really happening there is multiplication. So we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which would be division. So to get rid of multiplying by 2, we need to divide both sides by 2. Okay? So 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 1x. Now we have eliminated the coefficient in front of the x. And then on the other side, 18 divided by 2 is 9. Okay, so here's our final answer. I know that I'm done when x is alone. X is isolated. So let's look at one more example to make sure that we've got this. So we have x plus 7 divided by 2 equals 1. Now, as I said, normally we do adding and subtracting first, and then we take care of multiplying and dividing. But in this case, that plus 7 right here is inside of that large fraction. Therefore, we can't take care of the adding and subtracting first as we normally would. So we need to get rid of this 2 first. Now that 2, what is happening there? Let's read it out loud. X plus 7 divided by 2. So I need to do the opposite of dividing by 2. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So we need to multiply both sides by 2. Remember, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. Okay? The right side is easy. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay? But on the left side, 2 times over 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the 2's are going to eliminate. So what's left is x plus 7. Okay? Now that we've done that, we only have one step left. Remember, this is a two-step equation. So we've done the first step, now we're doing the second. So what is left to get rid of? We need to get this x isolated. So that means we need to get rid of the plus 7 that is with it. So let's do the opposite. That is plus 7. So we need to do the opposite, which is minus. So we're going to minus that 7. If we do it to one side, remember, do it to the other. That's because these are equivalent. It's an equation. Okay? To keep that balance of both sides, if you do it to one, you have to do it to the other. So x comes down. 7 minus 7 is 0. It's gone. Equals 2 minus 7, which is negative 5. I know I'm done because x is isolated. All right, so those are two wonderful examples of how to solve a two-step equation. I hope that this video has been helpful, and stay updated by following us in our Google Classroom. The code is O2QXYD. That code will get you into our Algebra 1 Google Classroom for Winston Churchill High School. We hope to see you in our next video.